What's happening, people? And once again, welcome back to youtube.com/CubCamTV for this, another edition of the CubCast, our now daily news section we are running here on the channel, keeping you up to date with all the latest updates around international music and news. And we've got some very exciting bits to talk about today. First of all, though, I do want to say thank you to each and every one of the new subscribers. You guys are absolutely killing it. It's crazy. The channel has never had this high of a viewership. We went past 400,000 monthly views the other day, just gone past 3 million total views on the channel, and we're on 47.3 thousand subscribers. This is crazy. I'm finding all of this absolutely insane, and I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for supporting the channel and supporting what we do, and enjoying the content more than anything else, because I enjoy putting it together. Today, we've got a very exciting thing to talk about, because we're going to be looking at some very exciting leaks, I suppose, to an extent, that are coming out about this forthcoming WIZKID album. Now, Wiz, obviously, the global superstar that he is attracting a lot of attention, and people have kind of been asking when More Love, Less Ego is going to be on the way, and also what it's going to be featuring. And these are the things we're going to be talking about today. So as far as we're aware, 29th of October is the date we keep seeing, and this is a similar time of year to when Made in Lagos actually dropped originally. Made in Lagos, as far as I'm aware, dropped in sort of mid-November. I may be wrong, it may be October time. It's around that sort of time, towards the end of the year, basically. The sort of fringes of December, shall we call it. And this means it's listened to over the Christmas holidays. It means it's listened to into the start of the new year. And it means you almost fall into numerous different brackets for award ceremonies, which is kind of cool. And it's one of the reasons why Made in Lagos did so well. I want to say for such a continuous period of time. It wasn't just good for a little while and then it dropped off. No, it's been continuously good and is still getting nominated for awards and things like that now. So this is why it's very exciting. Last night we did see the Grammy-nominated singer making a private performance of the project at the Roundhouse in London in collaboration with Apple Music, which is really cool to see. According to several different sources that we have seen, Big Wiz essentially thrilled the audience with a number of performances of the new project, which is really exciting. That comes to us via not just OK Magazine. I had a little look through their article this morning. And alongside this, inside that article, we also got to see that there are a number of potential collaborations that have been cited, have been mentioned about things that we could see on this project, which is all very, very cool to see. I think Wiz, when it comes to collaborations, is smart. Obviously, earlier this year, he featured on the Asher project. He also featured on WIZKID'S project, not WIZKID, on Chris Brown's project as well. Of course, he featured on the WIZKID project, but he featured on the Chris Brown album as well. He's smart when it comes to the collaboration. He does collaborations that make sense. I love that Asher collaboration, by the way. That's one of my favorite tracks of the year. But I think when it comes to his own work, this is why it's interesting. We're going to do a comparison a little bit later on in this video between his Made in Lagos lineup and the rumoured lineup that we're seeing already. But let's jump into the collaborations we've already seen mentioned. The first is Aerostar, who obviously is on an absolute roll. I've literally just got off finishing the recording for the most recent reaction for her, which is obviously the Kelly Rowland remix of Bloody Samaritan. Rush is absolutely taking off right now, so it makes sense. Aerostar is definitely one of the stars of the now, and this is kind of like a more localized collaboration that makes sense for WIZKID. I think it's one that sees two of the real kind of pillars of the last couple of years come together, and I think Aerostar and Wiz would absolutely kill it on a tune together. I think they've both got a cool kind of energy, and Aera tends to just hype up anything that she's involved in regardless. We also see a very exciting international one that is Travis Scott. We know Wiz has been touring the US. We know he's been getting involved in a lot of different conversations and collaborations, and we know Wiz has been known in that sort of community for a long period of time. He's worked with Drake before. He's worked with Chris Brown. He's worked with a number of these huge international artists already, so realistically it's not surprising that he's already in these circles. The Travis Scott collaboration could be very cool. I definitely would be keen to see Travis Scott in Wiz's world more than Wiz in Travis Scott's world, if that makes sense. And I think that would actually make for a more interesting collaboration rather than Wiz just kind of providing a vocal in a more sort of, I want to say, electronic, Americanized hip-hop fashion. I'd love to see Travis moving over to the more sort of rhythmic designs and production styles that you'd expect to hear from a WIZKID project. That's what I'd love to hear. On a P2J instrumental, Travis Scott, that'd be awesome. Come on, that's definitely what I'd like to see. We also see Don Toliver touted as featuring on this project as well, which is very interesting. Don Toliver is such a versatile artist when it comes to the vocals he uses. I could definitely see him playing a similar role to maybe a Teyawa on True Love that was on Made in Lagos. That's the sort of comparison I can see with that one quite clearly. I think that would work really well, and it'd be cool to see what Don Toliver does in that environment, because he's obviously a name that is huge, but is also one that is still rapidly ascending. We also see Roddy Ricch touted. Again, not a name I'm super familiar with. I know who Roddy Ricch is, but I'm not someone who will sit down and listen to a Roddy Ricch project. So this one, again, quite Americanized in its approach. I don't really know what to expect from this one, but hopefully it's good, and hopefully it isn't a wasted collaboration, because when you look back on Made in Lagos, there are no wasted collaborations apart from potentially the Skepta one, which just didn't hit the heights of obviously previous collaborations between the two. Another name that we have seen touted is Naira Marley. Now, this is one that I would absolutely love to see. I definitely think Naira Marley on the international scene is somewhat slept on. I'd love to see how people would react to a Naira Marley collaboration on a WIZKID album. Obviously, he's been pushing his own sort of collective through, obviously helping out with what's going on with Zinaliski a fair bit, but we know that Naira has the ability to produce bangers upon bangers. His album earlier this year was still somewhat slept on, despite the fact it's literally dripping in very energetic musical styles, and that's where it's interesting, because you see this list that we've established here. It's a very varied bunch. You've got Aerostar with the more sort of, I want to say, commercially viable, but still very much cemented in kind of originality. You've also got Travis Scott, which is a huge commercially successful name. Don Toliver with the more outside-the-box style. Roddy Ricch with a much more sort of typically hip-hop style than Naira Marley. Again, unorthodox, but still very much beloved for what he does. So these are very much celebrated artists that he's going to be working with on this. There's no sort of secondaries, if you know. These are all sort of leading artists in their own right that he's working with, which is what makes it interesting. When you then take a look in comparison to the features that we see on Made in Lagos, which is, of course, one of the most celebrated Nigerian albums of all time, you see projects Teyawa, Skepta, Burna Boy, Damian Marley, Her, Terry, and Ella May. Again, a real balance between rappers, singers, and international talent. I think that's what we're likely to see on this. I did see a tweet that someone put up about J Hus being involved on something as well. WIZKID and J Hus. Wow. Could you imagine that coming into the forefront? I would absolutely love to see it. Apparently I don't know whether he was in the building, but I saw the name J Hus trending alongside WIZKID in a lot of tweets, so I don't know whether that's a collaboration that's happening. I would love to see it happen. Also, I just want more J Hus music, to be honest with you. I loved his feature on the Burna Boy project. Now, this is why it's very exciting. I'm sure Wiz has a lot to compete with. Obviously, he's going to want to be competing with Burna's Love Domini, which obviously featured artists from 4 different continents. I don't know whether Wiz is going to do a similar kind of thing or focus a lot more on his sound specifically, but we do know that the Madison Square Garden show is locked in, which is a similar route to what Burna took. Whether that's kind of influencing the collaborations on this project, I don't know, but what we do know is that this is a project that has been kind of being worked on for a long period of time. We know it may well have been finished a long time ago, and now he's just adding extra bits. We don't know. We don't know what the actual arrangement is, but we know this is something that has been in the works for a long period of time. So I'm excited to see the track listing when it finally does land. Again, apparently it is dropping on October the 29th. Whether this can rival Made in Lagos, I think, is this album's biggest challenge. Not whether this is the biggest album of the year, because I think this is a year that is so jam-packed with incredible album projects, whether that be Love Domini, whether it be Playboy, whether it be Omar Lay's Boy Alone album, whether it be something more outside the box like the Basket Mouth project earlier this year, or Boja's album, whether it be Raven Roses, all of these different incredible international projects, even CK's brand new album, Sad Romance, which is again very unorthodox and abstract. I don't think this is necessarily the year for having the best album out, because there is so much competition. I think the main challenge of this album is to see whether it can rival Made in Lagos in both longevity and overarching quality. That's my kind of feeling on it. So there we go. Guys, let me know your thoughts on these leaks, if they are even leaks. I don't know. But let me know your thoughts on the potential collaborations that we could see on this project. Are there any collabs that you would love to see happen on this project? Personally, I always love seeing Wiz and Burna collaborate, so I'd love to see that as maybe like a part 3 carry on. I'd also like to see Wiz obviously getting involved with some more UK names. I'd love to see a J Hus collaboration. I'd like to see someone maybe outside the box as well from the UK. I'm trying to think of a name off the top of my head. Someone like a Masego as well. I'd love to see, just really exploring musicality. Imagine P2J, Masego, and WIZKID in the studio together. Oh, that would be incredible. But there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you for watching this edition of the CubCast Daily, which is, of course, our daily news section we run here on the channel, exploring international music and different things that are going on. If you are new to the channel, make sure you're getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right-hand side of the page, turning notifications on, of course, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff. We shall see you all next time. Peace.
Sounding so good right now. But they're sounding a bright and town.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CubCam TV. Stay locked.